What's up, guys? My name is Pro, and I've got some exciting news to share with you. The Old School RuneScape devs have just unveiled a proposal for a brand new dungeon, and it is currently in the "can we pull this" phase. I've taken a close look at what's to come, and I'm eager to share my findings. This dungeon, if approved, will be accessible through the Perilous Moons quest and is designed for mid-level players. It will take you deep into the Cam Torum, offering you a glimpse of the mysteries that could be hidden within. The Perilous Moons quest isn't just any quest, it could be your ticket to exploring this new dungeon. As you progress through the quest, you will find yourself on the brink of an exciting PvM adventure that's being created just for mid-level players. Inside the dungeon, there will not be one, not two, but 3 tough demi-bosses. Defeating them could mean scoring some awesome rewards. Now here's the exciting part. This proposal takes a lot of inspiration from the iconic Barrows brothers. If you're familiar with Barrows, you'll feel right at home, but this activity takes a unique approach. It's not just about combat, it's about discovery and exploration. As you journey into the mysteries of Valimor's ancient history, you find a mix of the best elements from Barrows and Forthos Dungeon, all wrapped up into one adventure-filled nostalgic game. Now, before you dive into this new dungeon, it's suggested to have a combat level of 65 or higher. Down there, it's all about defense, so preparing wisely before taking your first step into the unknown is essential. Every journey into the temple begins in the center room, with 4 ominous corridors leading to different areas of the dungeon. Only one corridor will be open each time you enter, adding a touch of unpredictability to your adventures. Once you've explored your starting corridor, feel free to move around and tackle the bosses in any order you like. Going after the ones closest to your starting location will save you time, but you can do it any way you want. Each room contains enemies, shortcuts, and opportunities to use your skills. You can find food and prayer restoration items, but they cannot leave the temple. The resources you gather inside will be faster than going to the bank, so you might just be able to stay at the temple for a few hours at a time without leaving. You'll also face formidable foes in the temple's depths, dropping useful items and granting you XP for defeating them. They will have a base camp, which lets you store and retrieve tools for hunter, fishing, and other gathering skills. Now, after exploring the dungeon and stocking up your supplies, it's time to face the demi-bosses. They promise exciting challenges and rewarding loot. Get ready to take on these foes and uncover the secrets of the temple depths. Now, let's talk about the bosses you'll encounter in this temple. Just like the Barrows, there is a variety of them, and the more you defeat, the better the loot you walk away with. It doesn't really matter which demi-boss you decide to take on first, your chances of scoring some loot are all about how many of them you can take down. Conquer all 3, and you are in for a huge reward. Now here's where things get interesting. Unlike the Barrows brothers, you won't be tackling these demi-bosses alone. Multiple players can fight them simultaneously, but here's the twist. These mighty entities can't be killed. Your mission is to keep them contained within the temple, and to do that, we're changing things up a bit. Instead of having a single massive health bar that you and your crew are working to deplete, each player has their own individual health bar. This means that what your fellow adventurers do or don't do won't affect your chances at the loot. You can go solo or team up with your friends. Either way, the rewards await. However, it also means that these bosses will attack all of you collectively, using their surroundings to dish out damage. So you'll need to stay on your toes to dodge these incoming attacks. Each of these bosses also presents a fantastic opportunity to learn and practice key mechanics that will come in handy when you face tougher foes down the line. It's like a training ground for newcomers to get familiar with more challenging aspects of PvM. And trust me, there's some never-before-seen mechanics that are sure to keep you guessing, but I won't spill the beans on those just yet. We've got to leave some surprises in store. Now let's talk about the importance of defense in this content. You see, defense is a critical aspect of this adventure. While most late-game gear tends to focus on offensive bonuses, especially in Old School RuneScape, Mid-game gear typically leans more towards defensive advantages, and guess what? That's precisely what they want to encourage here. These bosses all share a mechanic that underlines the significance of defense, and each boss also has their own way of lowering your damage per second when you take damage. Each boss's basic attack packs a punch, hitting 3 times, with each hit being harder than the last. However, if any of those attacks miss, the others will miss as well. So to keep your DPS high, you're going to need your defense up. Now let's take a quick look at some rough examples to illustrate how defense might come into play with different gear. Please note that these numbers are not final, but are here to give you an idea of just how critical defense will be. As you can see by this graph, we have in the equipment slots, we have the fighter torso and obsidian plate legs, and then we have bandos and Barrows armor. And with these different types of armor, it shows you what percentage you will get hit. So with the first attack at 10 damage, you will have a 40% chance with Barrows armor. And then your second attack, it will drop to 16%. And then the third attack will drop to 6.4%. And as you can see, it's a lot higher whenever you're just wearing the fighter's torso and obsidian plate legs. So the higher defense you have, you're going to be saving a lot of hit points. After you've conquered one of the demi-bosses, the next move is entirely up to you. You can either take on the remaining 2 or make a beeline for the loot. If you were aiming for those unique rewards, you'll want to keep all 3 bosses distracted, but if you're not up for the challenge, there's always the option to tap out. Now let's dive into the unique rewards in more detail. These are the treasures waiting for you at the end of your journey through the temple, and they're definitely worth the effort. The dev team is trying something fresh and experimental with these rewards. It's a bit of a throwback to the days before Barrows Brothers shook things up. Back then, weapons were all about dealing damage, and Barrows' unique weapons changed the game by introducing their own special mechanics. And well, they're looking to do something similar with these rewards. These armor sets we're about to talk about are not your typical Old School RuneScape gear. They break the mold into something exciting. Okay, so now let's talk about the sets. First, we have the Blood Rager, and then we have Frostmoon, and then the Eclipse set. We're going to start off with the Blood Rager set. Imagine this gear sitting right between Barrows and God Wars. It comes with a weapon that is perfect for dealing with those low defense enemies. The Dual Muchachos is the star of the set. Then why can't you make it easy to pronounce? It's fast and it hits twice. Plus, it has a special attack that lets you boost your damage by sacrificing some hit points. Wearing the complete set comes with a bonus, a set effect that speeds up your attacks with the Dual Muchachos, making it a game changer against foes with low defense. Now, the Frostmoon set. The Frostmoon set gives you a mid-game boost to your magic damage, and it is all about immobilizing your targets. It's a versatile set that complements both melee and magic attacks. The real gem here is the Spell Spear, a melee weapon that packs a punch and allows you to autocast spells, so you can melee and use magic, which is really cool. The set's effect is awesome. It gives your melee attacks with the Spell Spear a chance to bypass action delay, meaning you can strike quicker and more efficiently. Now we move on to the Eclipse set. The Eclipse set is a hybrid combining range accuracy and melee strength. It features a brand new range weapon, the Eclipse Atalabla, with a unique set effect. This effect has a 20% chance to inflict a burn, dealing damage over time, and you can stack it for even more damage. The special attack is a game changer, consuming burn damage to increase your hits significantly. The Bladed Moon. But wait, there's more. Let's talk about the Bladed Moon. It's an offhand weapon that combines the best of both worlds, offensive and defensive. It offers a bigger slash bonus than defenders while providing extra defense capabilities similar to the Mithril Kite Shield. The best part is it's untradeable and requires you to combine Blood, Eclipse, and Blue Moon spikes, which you will get from each of the 3 bosses. So what do you think of these sets and rewards? Share your thoughts. My name is Pro, and if you want to see how I fell in love with Old School RuneScape again, click on this video right here.